Today I'm going to show you guys how to set up your Lee 4-die set on your Lee Classic Turret Press, and that's coming up next year on Jesse B Outdoors Reloading. Welcome back everybody, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below if you like videos like this. Well, this is a viewer request. I've had quite a few of you, a lot of you are new reloaders, were asking me how to set up dies on the Lee Classic Turret Press. So I figured since I got a new set of dies here in 44 Special, which I'm going to be setting up for 44 Magnum, I'd bring you guys along and show you how to set them up. So what we're going to do is bring that camera in here and I'll show you how. Now before we get started here, we're going to open up the die set so I can show you guys, in case you're a new reloader, what to expect when you open this up here. So what we got is the 4-die set here, and I always recommend the 4-die set because I like seating and crimping on different steps. But you get your 4 dies. Lee also gives you a dipper, and Lee is the only company I know that gives you the shell holder with your die set, and that's a nice touch. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to put our priming arm in if you're going to be priming on the system. I need the large pistol primer one, so that's what I got there. That just drops right in there and hangs out to the side. And then I'm going to leave this just like that, and I'm going to go into the die set here and grab my shell holder. And then I'm going to just pop that right here in the bottom. And now everything's being held in because the shell holder holds the primer rod in here. So now that's all set to go, so we can move on to getting our die set up. Now the first die we're going to be setting up is going to be our sizing and decapping die. And this is what this looks like. Now, I said this was a brand new set of dies, so I'm going to tell you what I did already. I took these out to my garage, took every die apart, and I spray them with a brake cleaner, and then I go in with a Q-tip and clean them out. You want to get all the machining oil out of these? That's one tip for you guys. For new reloaders, if you got new dies, you don't have to use brake clean. It's just I work on cars too, so I already got there, so that's what I do. Now, what you want to do with these lock rings here, what you want to do is back this off as much as you can so it don't interfere while you're putting it in. So we're just going to thread it up about all the way up just like that. So what we're going to do now is get this started in the first hole here and then raise our ram up. Now this is where some people do it different. I don't do it every single step by the book. This is how I do it, and I'm going to tell you how other people do it, just like I do with reloading. I'm going to screw it down till right there it touches the shell holder. If I'm going to zoom in here real quick, you can see that the turret will actually raise up and stop because we're right there touching that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower the ram, and we're going to make a dummy round while doing this. So you can see right here I got my piece of brass spent primer in there. Now what I like doing is I like running the brass up into it. That way it takes all the slop out of the threads. And then I'm going to thread this down here. I'm just going to fast forward to this part. It's boring. Alright, since this is a new die set, this has the new Lee lock rings. You can get that junk plastic wrench that Lee will sell you. Or you can go on to Etsy and buy an aluminum one like this. I'm pretty sure it's aluminum. I don't remember. I'll leave a card up above for you guys to check out where I did a video on this. I don't remember if I did it on this channel or my main channel, but I'll leave that card for you guys to check out. This is a lot better. And then like I said, I like tightening up. Just snug it up here. You don't need to get real crazy with it. And that gives you plenty of leverage to put it on there, and it's a lot better than that plastic one. So now what we're going to do is lower the ram, and we're going to go to the next step, which is going to be the powder through expanding die. Now I got the powder through expanding die, and what I'm going to do is drop that in there, and I'm going to get this started. And I'm pretty sure the way I do this is different than what the book tells you to, but to me I found this the easiest way. We still got our piece of brass in here, so we're going to raise that all the way up. And then what we're going to do is thread that down until it touches the case mouth right there. You can see that. Now I'm just going to lower this a little bit. I'm not going to put it all the way down because we're going to have to make our adjustments. But I want to do this now so I don't have to do it later. So once again, I'll fast forward through this because this part's boring. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is since that's touching the case mouth, I actually rotated that, but I'm going to move it back here. What I want to show you guys is in case you're a new reloader You cannot put a bullet into this case after you sized it. It won't fit. That's why we got to flare it. Now, you can lift this halfway up and just turn it back. That way it don't mess with anything for the rotating part of it. So we're going to put this back in here. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to make sure, once again, we are at the case mouth. What I'm going to do is about a half a turn. Run it up there. I can feel it hit. And then what you do is you grab your bullet and you keep doing that until your bullet will go in. I'm going to do another about half turn there. So that'd be one full turn. I'm just doing it this way in case you guys are new. Usually I do it one full turn. But I want to show you guys why. We still don't have it in there right. You can see right there, so the bullet ain't fitting in. Do about another half turn here. Grab this, put it up in there. Still not right. So I backed down my ring a little bit too much. I'm going to do about another half turn. And you just keep doing this until the bullet fits. I'll do it one more time. If it don't fit in there this time around, I'm just going to fast forward until it does. But we'll check it out here. You can see it's starting to go down in there, so we're going to make another adjustment. Alright, so you guys can see there, here's our bullet. And we're going to drop down. Now since this one's a full metal jacket, you want to just go down in there. And you can hear that little pop as you take it off. That's the way you want these set up. Now if you're doing a cast bullet, you're going to want to flare it out more because you don't want to get any shaving coming off if it's powder coated or just plain lead bullets. That's something you want to watch. So I always bill my cast bullets out more than I do in my full metal jackets. So now we got that part set up. Once again, I'm going to run this up into the die. That way it takes all the slop out of the threads. And we're going to snug it up with a wrench here. And that's everything for the expanding die. Now we're going to do the bullet seating and crimp die, but we're not going to do the crimp part. We're just going to do the bullet seating. So once again, make sure that you got your lock ring up, and then make sure your bullet seater is thread out pretty much most of the way so it won't interfere with anything. So we'll get this threaded up there. And you can see right there it came out. We don't want it out, so I'll put a couple threads in. So we're going to rotate this over to the next thread. And once again, I am leaving my piece of brass in there because I'm going to run it all the way up. And what I'm going to do is thread this down until it stops. Once again, once it stops right there, you can see how the turret raised right there. What that's doing is that is hitting the crimp feature. We don't want to crimp. So now what we're going to do is, this is where stuff's a little bit different between people. I think the book tells you to back it off one turn. Basically, I can tell right there it's hitting. I do about a half a turn. As long as the crimp feature is not engaging, you're perfectly fine on that. So once again, we're going to thread this down until we get to the bottom and tighten it and snug it up with the piece of brass up in there. I'm going to fast forward again. Alright, now that is snug down. I forgot to get my dial calipers out, so I got to open up my drawer here and get those out here real quick. Now what we want to do is set up what we're going to do to seat the bullet. And you can see we backed the stem out already. So we're just going to lower this down right here to, it's right there. We are going to grab our bullet here. I'm doing a Hornady XTP here. We're going to put that in there. I'm going to raise it up, and I'm just going to tighten this down until it hits the top of that bullet. Alright, now it's hitting the top of that bullet, so now I'm just going to lower it. And this is another part, it's going to take a certain amount of time until you get used to it. What I want on this is going to be 1.600. You can see there's a cantilever on the bullet though, and I'm nowhere near it. You want the case mouth up to that cantilever to crimp it. So we got a ways to go, so once again I'm just going to fast forward until I get close to it, and I'll be back. Now we're getting close, so now you want to turn it in smaller increments because you don't want to overshoot it. That's what I always do when I get close to it. Right now I'm on 1.603. Just a small, tiny amount is all you want to do. You want to sneak up on this. You don't want to go over, because if you go over, you're going to have to pull the bullet and redo it. Alright, we're on 1.602. Go just a little bit more. And right there you can see, and get that glare off of there, we're on 1.600. Don't worry about that 5 on the end, that don't matter. So now we are dead on. So we're not going to be crimping with this die, so we can move on to the last step. So now it's time for our last die. This is the Lee Factory Crimp die. Once again, I raised the lock ring up a little bit, and we're going to back this crimp feature out so that does not engage here. So we got that about right there, and we're going to rotate it to the last hole on here. Get it started. Now this die is pretty much the same as the sizing decapping die. You raise your ram up all the way. You turn it in there. Oops, I got my stem too loose. Tighten that up there. Go down until we hit the shell holder. And right there we can see that it's raising up, so I'm touching it right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to thread this down and tighten up the lock ring. Alright, now we'll just get it snug up here. And you don't have to go gorilla tight with these guys. You just need them snug. No sense of getting carried away with it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this. I'm actually going to spin it back to where it's on the die. I need the factory crimp die with it all the way lowered. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys up top here a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing right here. I'll be right back. Alright, so part of the crimp feature is you got to know how many turns to know what kind of crimp you got on it. What I got here is a centering punch here. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight. I've already got a dot here you can't see on the camera that I put with a black marker here. So I'm going to put that down on there and I'm going to push it. And that's going to put a dent right there. That way I always got a reference mark on this. So now I can put that down there. And what we're going to do is change the camera angle back down, and I can show you how to adjust it. So now we're going to put our round back in here, raise it all the way up, and you're going to turn this until you hit the case mouth, and that's going to be your 0 point. So we'll turn right here, keep turning until right about right there. We just hit the case mouth on this. So you can see right now there is no flare on this at all. So Lee says in the manual, if you do a half turn, that is a light crimp. Now if you're doing handgun rounds, usually a light crimp will get you close. Usually I do a little bit more than half on my, I should say, semi-auto rounds. But we're going to run that up there. And it really does not feel like it's doing much. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell at all if on the camera that didn't crimp much. Now since we're doing a Magnum round here, I do a full turn. That's a heavy crimp according to the book, and with a high pressure Magnum round, that's what I want. I could feel it engage that time. And now you can see there is a crimp on there, and that's how you set up all your dies. Now that we're done with our dummy around here, we got to do our final inspection to make sure it is within spec here. So we got our micrometer here, and we are going to make sure this is on 1.6000. You can see that is perfect for the overall length right there. Now there's two ways to double check this. You can get an ammo checker like this. Now, I do not recommend these for semi-auto handguns. I'll leave a card up above for you guys to check out for that. But for revolver rounds, I don't mind. You can see that drops right in there. It's flush, and it falls right out. That's what you want. So that's where this comes in. Now, the best thing to do is I made this round for my Ruger Red Hawk here. So you can see we got the cylinder opened up here. There's nothing in there, and you want to drop that round in the cylinder and then make sure it falls out of the cylinder. Now if you're using a semi-auto gun, I recommend using the barrel for the semi-auto gun and do the same thing with just the barrel. That way you know this round is perfectly made. When it goes in like that and falls out, That is perfect. Let's go back up on top. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to set up your 4-die set on the Lee Classic Turret Press. Like I said, this is how I do it. Is it a right way or wrong way? No, it's just how I like doing it. Like I said, some of it's by the book, some of it isn't. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how I do it and some little tips that help you guys out on how to do them. So as always, don't forget to check the links out down below. Down there I have links to Axle Hearing Protection, Warbird Eyewear, and a bunch of other companies I like dealing with. Some of them got discount code to save you guys money. Others are affiliate accounts that do help out the channel. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment down below. We are One Nation Under God. And I'll see you all on the next one.